Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we will be discussing The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 6, Suns Out, Buns Out, okay? Before we get into all of that, I do need you guys to like the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. If you're not a current subscriber, go ahead, hit the subscription button, become a Barb's Babe. I would love to have you. Also, comment down below. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode, my commentary this season, etc. Also, make sure your notification bell is on so you don't miss any of my uploads. Also, share me with all of your folks near and far. Let me throw my banner up here, y'all. I'm not gonna be on screen because I just this weekend really had me down for a count, and today I honestly just rested and really just tried to gather myself for this busy week that I'm about to have. So nonetheless, and yeah, if any devil dogs are watching, happy birthday, Marines. Happy 250th birthday. Yes. But anyway, y'all, let's jump right into it. Let me put my banner up here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because you guys need to follow me on all of my socials. Okay. So yeah, y'all, this episode, Suns Out, Buns Out. I mean, I really didn't see that many buns out, but I mean, we'll get to that when we get to it. Honestly, I'm really starting to feel a decline in my enthusiasm for these episodes, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not throwing in the towel yet, but I just have to be honest with you guys. This season, this episode is really just, I don't know. It's like it's missing something. It's missing something. I find myself getting frustrated with several people, and it's becoming slightly less enjoyable for me to watch if I'm just being 100% honest. But nonetheless, we pick up. It's night 2. The ladies are still at dinner. The conversation is surrounding Jassi and Kei being upset still. But, you know, they decided to table that conversation for now, at least. And instead, they will continue it once they get in front of Wendy, obviously, once everybody is all together, because we know at this point, Wendy was still sick. She was back in her room at the villa. So from there, Gizelle proceeds to spill shots in her lap. And in my opinion, I'm like, okay, well, that's what you get for trying to be shady, Gizelle. Like, oh, well. Nonetheless, she brings up how Wendy mentioned Kei not liking her very much and how it just, you know, it bothered her, being as though she really liked Kei and she thought that they were good. So she really was not understanding why Kei would have said what she said. And actually, I think I misspoke before. This is the conversation that they also decide to table because, again, she's not present. So instead of just assuming or speaking for another person, why don't we just wait until everybody can be here so nothing can be misconstrued, nothing can be misinterpreted, etc., etc. And Kay's whole thing is, you know, Wendy, she needs to bring the facts. And I'm like, well, I feel like what she said was kind of spot on. And honestly, I feel like Kay knew exactly what this thing was that was supposedly said. I just think that she would rather not bring it up in the moment because she knows it more than likely probably won't go well, or she doesn't want to start up that confrontation. Whatever the reason is, I do feel like she knew exactly what Jassi was referring to. But anyway, moving right along. Once I get back to the resort, we overhear this conversation involving Stacey and Jassi and Ashley. And we did not hear this from, I think it was a producer cam. So obviously all the ladies are winding down, and we hear Stacey explaining that while she was separated, going through her divorce and everything, Chris Samuels, that is, was one of the people that she saw. And although they weren't intimate, the same could be said for Tiamo. She does speak highly of him. And I'm like, okay, girl, that's all you had to really say at the table. I don't really see the big deal in that. But I also understand where you're like, well, maybe like you don't feel like you owe these ladies an explanation, which I completely understand, but being as though they being the Ashleys and the Gizelles of the world keep coming at you, I would just think that you would have maybe navigated that differently, because now you might be looked at as like a liar or someone that withholds the entire truth. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite her. But again, we know how Ashley is. We know how Gizelle is. I'm sure we'll hear about it again, unfortunately. So the next day, Ashley FaceTimes her mom, and I think Josh briefly like texted her. I don't really care about that, so whatever. Angel claims that she's trying to be more positive today. We'll see how long that lasts. And Wendy, who is still not feeling 100%, she says that she has a sinus infection. She's relieved that she at least knows what's going on. And y'all, you know who doesn't, or you know who also was having some health issues? Stacey. Stacey's lip decided to swell up because for whatever reason she was allergic to something. And she's like, is it noticeable? And Wendy's like, girl, like why'd you have to ask me that? Hell yes, it's noticeable. Anyway, they make it out to the yacht and they'll be hanging out on the water all day, followed by dinner later on that evening. And Gizelle, again, she has all these customized towels for each of the ladies. Of course, Stacey's was blank. I didn't get a photo of that. I wish I did. But of course, hers is blank. And unfortunately, actually I have to put this picture up, right? Okay. Yeah, they're on the yacht. And Giselle's whole thing is, she doesn't know who Stacey is. She's unsure of who this woman is that's standing in front of her. It's just not adding up. However, since the trip has begun, she is starting to warm up to Stacey a bit more. And I'm just like, you should have already felt that way, because at the end of the day, I just feel like you're using Stacey as an easy target, because in all actuality, like I said, I want to say on my last recap review, Stacey's lies up until this point, I'm throwing up the air quotes, you guys can't see it, but these alleged lies that Stacey has been telling, they only impact her. Like, I'm upset that I even have to say that again, because why is this not clicking to the Gizelles and the Ashleys? And I can only think it's not clicking because they just want to obviously make a moment. Ashley ain't got really nothing going on. Gizelle is trying her hardest to lead the girls to new ratings. And it's falling flat for me every time they come for Stacey. It really is, y'all. Y'all let me know in the comments how you feel about it. And honestly, if I was Stacey, I would have told Gizelle that she could take her and her towel and they could both go to hell. Truthfully. Once they sit down, Gizelle opens back up that conversation from last night that they had at dinner. And she is trying to see exactly what Kay said to Wendy, supposedly in reference to her, because she got wind that Kay has some ill feelings towards her. I think I want to say she went on as far as to say that Kay supposedly has straight up hatred towards her. And last time Gizelle checked, they were cool. She thinks that she's been nothing but a good friend to her. So Gizelle was really not sure where this was stemming from. And in her confessional, we have, or not even in her confessional, I should say, Kay thinks that she said she thinks that she didn't say that she hated Gizelle. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't tell us if you did or didn't. You say, once again, you don't think. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to be on the show, you need to remember exactly what you said and how you said it, and not trying to and not trying to continue to like use this excuse of, well, I don't think I said that, or I don't remember. That was the same thing with the whole chin check, right? I'm gonna need her to stand on what she says. Anyway, her whole thing is she was upset with Gizelle surrounding the assault situation. She was upset with Gizelle because if you guys remember that season, Gizelle wound up leaving that GNA run fashion show, whatever it was, that first event that they had. Gizelle wound up leaving early once the actual event wrapped and the party of it all began, because she needed to go be by her father's side, because this was about the time that she unfortunately lost her father because he had a tumor and brain tumor, if I'm not mistaken. And so Gizelle explains, well, like, that was the time that my father was at the hospital. I left the event to go see him through the surgery, only for him to unfortunately pass away shortly after. So yeah, like you had to call the plastic surgeon girl, and my father is no longer here. Like the two are complete polar opposites here. And quite honestly, you were the furthest thing from my mind. And to think that you thought I was supposed to call you during that difficult time makes me really look at you like some type of high maintenance friend. And Kay is like, I am a high maintenance friend. And I'm like, yeah, apparently. And I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that in certain cases, but in this case, I'm just like, and maybe this is why she tried to shy away from it, because she knew that would just look kind of crazy right now. You upset with somebody for not reaching out to you when they were being there for their dying father is it makes her look selfish. However, y'all, I'm really trying to remain unbiased here, and I'm really trying to see Kay's side as well. And I do know that was a very traumatic experience for her. So I do understand how she may have been looking for support for everybody who was a part of this situation, who was at the event, this entire group. I can understand that. But I'm like, for it to somehow get relayed that now you hate Gizelle for it is, again, it just kind of makes you look a little like very selfish, honestly. I feel like you could have approached it differently, to where you could have brought it up and not came off as so self-centered maybe in that moment. And what else? So she tries to play it cool, and she's like, I'm good on it. We even see that flashback of where she addressed it at that season's reunion. And again, Gizelle is just completely confused because she thought that they were good. And Wendy's like, you intentionally said what happened to you was essentially Ashley's fault. You then turned around to say that you hated Gizelle. So what did I do? Like, how did I get in it? How am I the snake when in all actuality, you're the faker here? And I guess thank God for Tia in this situation, because she chimes in to mediate a bit, and she discloses that she also lost her father 8 years ago. And so she sees that what happened to Kay was awful through and through. And she's just like, you cannot accept much from Gizelle right away after that level of tragedy. Your feelings remain unchanged, and you need to get it all out so that you guys can both know where you stand. And I couldn't agree more, honestly. And Gizelle, she's standing on the fact that she was a good friend towards Kay, which again is why she's so confused. Kay is over there crying at this point. She does apologize for not fully expressing the magnitude of her feelings. And as a friend, that's how she would have gone about things herself, essentially. And I can understand that sometimes you do, get kind of disappointed when you extend yourself in a certain way and you just automatically assume or think that the other person is going to reciprocate that energy exactly the same. And that's something I honestly had to learn myself, where it's like, you just have to do certain things out the goodness of your heart and genuinely just not expect anything back. And I'm not saying that you should allow people to be quote unquote bad friends to you or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you just have to not hold everybody to the exact same identical standard and to the exact methods that you personally would use. Because, and shout outs to the diva Erica De Niro, because she actually said this in one of her videos recently, and something that she bestows upon her sons is that, hey, you can't expect people to, essentially, you can't expect people to love the same way as you, or everybody's definition of love is different. Everybody's definition, I would say, of support is different. Like, everything that you may think is not exactly the way in which another person thinks. So once you start to expect that, it just opens up your world to be disappointed, honestly. And at a minimum, again, address it head on so that the other person will know exactly how you feel, and so that it won't grow to something like this. Because I mean, am I crazy? Because I also didn't think that there was an issue remaining between them two, especially when earlier on in the season, y'all came diddy bopping up to somewhere like this. Like that looks cool enough to me. I don't know, y'all. Anyway, nonetheless, that was the end of all of the super intense conversation. They all start jumping off the boat. They're taking pics, the whole nine. Everybody looked really good. I really like this outfit Jassi had on. I like what he had on too. Okay, I see Angel. I see you, Angel, with the Gucci wedges. Okay, I like Kay's look. Okay, Ashley has this butterfly get up on. All right. And I want to say the bracelet that Gizelle had on, one of her tennis bracelets that she had on, I want to say I have that exact same tennis bracelet. If I'm not mistaken, that is the Mona Maria Hello Gorgeous tennis bracelet. And I need to figure out if that is exactly what it is, because it looked just like mine. Anyway, wait, is Jassi? And y'all, I'm not body shaming by any means, but she looks like she's sucking in like really, really hard. Girl, breathe. But I mean, body's banging. I honestly, when I get in the gym tomorrow, I'm gonna be having Jassi's physique in mind, because Mama has it going on for real. Anyway, moving on. After that, it's time to head off to eat. They clearly got some really good content, as I just said, or as I should say. And so Stacey actually has a name placard. I was shell shocked by that, but she has a name placard, and we find out that the meals at this time were already pre-selected. So we did find out, I want to say last season, that Kay is allergic to cheese. So that actually comes up in this situation. So let's y'all just freaking, what's it called? Put a Post-it note on that. But the real dinner conversation starts off with Jassi just being super happy that she's spending time with the ladies as she's approaching her wedding. We're about 14 days out at this time. And so she did also talk about how her and Darius had co-ed bachelorette parties. I remember seeing that on her IG during the off season. And we find out that Stacey will be attending the wedding. I think I said in a couple lives / recordings earlier this season that it was Stacey, Ashley, and Wendy that all attended Jassi's wedding. And although Stacey was asked to be a bridesmaid, she couldn't. She had to decline because of family reasons. More specifically, she said that her business launch is coinciding with Jassi's wedding. And, you know, she would love to be there for her, but at the end of the day, her business is very important to her. This is the legacy that she is establishing and in hopes to one day hand it down to her daughter. And at first, when I first watched it, I didn't quite understand. I guess I missed the part where she says it conflicts with the business launch. I just kind of thought she was like, oh yeah, I heard it a lot more vaguely the first watch. So I was like, girl, that makes no sense. And quite honestly, it still may not make sense, because although I like Stacey, I got to give Gizelle her just due, because Gizelle called BS. She called BS because according to her, Stacey was unsure if she was even going to go to Jassi's wedding, because at the time, it was unknown whether or not Jassi was going to be officially a part of the group, aka on the show. Like, she wasn't trying to break the fourth wall, but y'all know we can read between the lines, and we know that that's exactly what Gizelle meant. And so there would be no incentive, I guess, for Stacey at the time to have attended the wedding and been a part of the wedding or whatever, and to participate in those nuptials, because she didn't, I guess, give her official RSVP maybe until she found out that Jassi was going to be a part of the show. Gizelle was basically calling Stacey an opportunist, is what I took from that. Nonetheless, Tia brings up how the day prior, Jassi called her out for her overuse of filters, when that just tempted Tia to go and look on Jassi's IG, her social media, to only find out that, girl, our level of filtering is pretty on par. So it's almost as though I was trying to diffuse the situation and you were trying to amplify it, mama. And this is where I put on my thumbnail for this week, as you guys can see, it says just doing just a tad too much. This is where that comes into play, because y'all, when I say we got the this was like a part of the trailer or whatever, the previews for this episode. It was Jassi going off like this, and so I thought it was going to be for like some other major reason, but Jassi, like, I needed you to rein it back in just a touch. You've been showing up really well since you first premiered on this show, and I'm not going to take that away from you. But right here, it was looking like a champagne flute grab. I just have to keep it a buck with y'all. But what I also like that Jassi pointed out is that she points out that, well, Tia, you put up this, her word, or my words, not hers, this obtuse facade. And I peeped that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I know I peeped that about Tia a while ago. And although she did share earlier about her dad, I've come to realize that Tia is very mindful and purposeful about, I think, that the information that she shares about herself and when to interject. And she's navigating this in a way to where she is, I think, safeguarding her own tea. And instead, she knows how to play off of the conversation to where she's not really highlighted for whatever may be or may not be going on in her life for real. And I feel like this was just Jassi pointing that out to us, because Tia, she has gone on record to take on this whole, like, what is going on? I have no idea what's going on. And it's like, girl, first of all, that's BS. And I know for a fact it's BS, because Tia admitted on Watch Happens Live that she watches all the franchises, so she knows the name of the game. Like, don't sit here and act like it's a like cultural barrier or anything like that. You know what be going on. But anyway, so Jassi continues on, and she's like, I'm watching you, Tia. This like you don't try it. And the whole thing is, like, she literally snaps on Tia about like bringing up Mr. Sunshine was like so smitten by her, like just 14 days before her wedding, literally. So don't play with me, Tia. I was like, girl, relax. Anyway, Tia wasn't phased though, and pretty much nobody at the table was phased. They were all kind of like, girl, relax. And Tia's like, girl, what is going on with you? Do you got anger issues? And Wendy's like, can someone pass the prosciutto? And I'm like, that would have been me, because it looked like you were grasping for a moment, like I just said. And Tia says that when they took the group photo, she was beside Mr. Sunshine. And when they got in the van, she did make a joke that caused Jassi to change up her facial expression, which obviously Tia peeped. And she's just like, that was all just my own humor. She does wind up apologizing for it. And so they're able to squash it in this moment. I'm like, thank God, because we don't need any more superficial other beefs. And I say superficial because everybody's always entitled to how they feel. But Jassi, we know that I just don't feel like you were genuinely upset. And Gizelle really tried to throw you a bone in her confessional by saying that she gets it. Y'all came on to the show and you had a lot of hardships surrounding your relationship last season. But it's like, girl, like the fork, the fork, it was just a bit too much. And I can't believe I'm saying this, I have to agree with Gizelle on that one as well. But like I said, they were able to apologize and make up. And this is also about the time that Kay is like, pretty much everything has cheese in it. And Wendy actually takes it upon herself to politely switch meals with Kay because I guess her meal didn't have cheese on it. And I'm just like, see, and watch you still have something to say about this lady. And I'm not saying that like you guys are just, again, not allowed to feel how you want to feel, but I do feel like this at this point, if we continue to hear about certain beefs, it's because certain individuals want to continue those. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Anyway, as the ladies head back to the resort to indulge in the bachelorette activities that are spearheaded by Gizelle, en route, they were unmiked, cameras were down, everything. It was just their own time to make it back. We hear from Stacey that it was Jassi and Angel that they were engaging in this passionate conversation. And the majority of the women were not in the golf cart. Obviously, it was Wendy, it was Jassi, Angel, Wendy, and Stacey. And like I said, they were engaging in this conversation to the point that later on we find out that it was making, quote unquote, making Wendy and Stacey uncomfortable because all we hear is the snaggletooths and the "are you kidding me's?" And and so Stacey's like, someone trying to harm Angel's family, like what is going on for real? It's Housewives. We know we're going to get into it further, but it's just going to have to wait until obviously mics are back on, cameras back on, etc. Also put a post-it on that, y'all. So nonetheless, they arrive back to the resort. Everybody's changing into their quote unquote slutty attire. And a good amount of the ladies, well, I shouldn't say a good amount, but a few of the ladies, they either didn't get the memo or shall I say they ignored the memo. And who I mean is Stacey. Do I have a picture? No, crap. I don't have a picture of Stacey's outfit, but if y'all watch the episode, y'all know exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. Stacey, I love your personality, but this is why I also said right here that I'm gonna have to knock you, I'm gonna have to knock you down a peg. I'm gonna have to deduct 1 point because, girl, I get, if you want to dress more modestly, y'all, I'm not saying that you are automatically someone who has to dress on par with everybody else. And if you don't feel comfortable showing some skin, then by all means, I get it. But I'm like, I feel like Stacey was dressed more sexy on fucking Watch Papa's Live than this episode. I was very confused. And I don't know. It just honestly, it annoyed me. I can't even lie. It annoyed me because I'm like, I get it. Like, not everybody is the quote unquote overtly like sexy personality person. And I feel like we see that with other people sometimes. And it's like, if you're over sexualizing everything, it can be a lot. Brent from Roni. Anyway, I don't want her to take on that persona, but I'm like, you could have played into it just a little bit more, girl. And Tia also was covered head to toe. She had on what she had on, I guess, underneath the robe, but she wasn't trying to show it. And maybe when cameras went back down, maybe that's when, certain people really wanted to come alive. But I just, in this moment, I can only give Gizelle, Ashley, Wendy, Kay, Angel, and obviously Jassi their kudos for dressing on theme. Yeah, I'm like, Stacey was given like tavern maiden get up. I'm like, girl, go ahead with this. Anyway, Jassi was super excited, of course. Gizelle, she has appropriately decorated everything with all of the dicks and vaginas possible. And so we overhear Angel already starting up the buzzkill-ish. She's talking about she feels deflated and she's really trying to push through, but she's bothered by that conversation that occurred between her and Jassi earlier. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to need to really open this up because what really happened? Like, what's really the issue? And so they all take turns giving Jassi lap dances and, whatnot, all the bachelorette stuff, y'all, right? Ashley literally licks Jassi. I'm like, okay, a lot, like talking about stuff. You know, you're delicious, bitch. I'm like, Ashley, go away, girl. And trust me, I am down for the girl on girl. Like that is totally okay. But Ashley is always, you know, she always got it. She was vying for camera time, I feel like, in that moment yet again. And that's why I said down, Tiger. Like, relax, okay? So once it's time for Angel to have her way with Jassi, she tells her that her crime is for having a big mouth. And because we're in fun mode, Jassi's like, oh, you know, do I have maybe like I have a big mouth because, well, you know, maybe that's why I'm getting married, like LOL. And so it was kept cute in that moment. Ha ha, he. Jassi's also double jointed. And everybody was freaking out about that. Everybody's faces were like, what the did you just do? Because she brought the handcuffs from the back to the front. And I was like, y'all. And if I was on camera, I would show you guys right now. But I am also double jointed. So I automatically knew what Jassi did. And I'm like, oh my God, see, girl, we two peas in a pod, like, because I did the same thing. But to people that aren't aware that certain people can do that, they aren't aware of one being double jointed, I could see why it threw off certain people. But I thought that was really funny. Anyway, afterwards, Gizelle addresses the big mouth comment that Angel made. And she's like, you know, was that in regard to Darius being happy? Or was it because she said something that she wasn't supposed to say? And Angel's like, well, not to y'all. Like, yeah, like pretty much, yeah, she said something that she wasn't supposed to say. And here we have it, y'all. Things automatically get weird. It's like, you know, here we go. Jassi even looked a bit confused. Oh, I had a picture of the double jointedness of it all. You see their do y'all see Gizelle stays making a face. Gizelle and Stacey's faces, like these are two people on the cast that make two of the funniest faces, I feel like. I think they have some of the funniest reactions, Wendy included too. Wendy has some funny facial expressions at times as well. Anyway, Angel says that, and Jassi even looked a bit confused. Everybody's confused. They're like, what are you talking about? And so Angel tries to keep it cute. She's like, oh, it's her bachelorette. Let's have fun. Like, you know, and it's just like, girl, no, you just brought something up. Obviously, now we have to talk about it. Otherwise, you know, it's just like, we got to talk about it. We got to address it. Like, what happened? Oh, my goodness. And I'm right now, or at this moment in the episode, I was just like, here we go. And so Jassi says that, or I should say, Angel says that somebody messaged Jassi about her and gave her some incorrect information that Jassi then brought to her being Angel. And so Jassi goes on to say that she pulled Angel to the side to tell her how she was told about some instances where Angel supposedly was less than kind to certain people. She made certain people feel excluded, left out, what have you. And so because that's not the experience she's had with Angel up until this part, that's not the energy she got from Angel, we have Jassi wanting to then bring it up to Angel to kind of get to the bottom of that. And so in her confessional, Jassi takes her explanation further to say that they do share common mutual friends or colleagues. And so some people have been saying that some people have been contacting her. She says people, not just one person, y'all. Words mean things. So I just need you guys to understand. She said people as in plural. Came forward to offer her some tea about Angel. And so Angel takes back over the conversation to say that when her and Bobby first started seeing each other, a young lady reached out to her, a young lady that was apparently another WAG. She invited her into the Chicago circle and they became friends and everything was going well until one day Bobby's agent, his financial advisor, and his mentor all got on a three-way call to let him know that she stole money from his account. She doesn't say the amount. She just says, you know, stole money from his account. And she was basically trying to trap him under the guise of her taking birth control. And this was info that the girl directly relayed back to the agent. And so when Angel got wind of it, she went off on the girl, of course, and that's the whole situation. And so supposedly Angel, wait, what? Sorry, y'all. My notes are crazy. Anyway, so both Gizelle and Ashley bring up a good point, and they're like, well, Jassi did come directly to you with it. Cameras were not on, like nobody was, in front of it wasn't in front of the group. It was just between y'all two. And that's a big deal when we're, on this playground, this Housewives playground. And Angel's like, y'all just have to understand, I'm tired at this point. And for the most part, Ashley be on some BS. But when I say in this moment, y'all, that it was the God's honest truth, because Ashley's like, girl, you're married to him. Y'all have 2 kids. Nobody's even thinking about that. Like, girl, why are you like living in the past? Like, this happened years ago, right? When did this happen? And Angel's like 2016. I just want to make sure I can marinate on that with y'all for just a second. This happened in 2016. It is 2025 going on 2026. So that'd be about 10 years, right? Going on 10 years. I'm gonna just leave that with y'all. Because at the same time, Ashley then puts her foot in the mouth talking about, oh yeah, $30,000 that she sold from him. That's why I made sure earlier on when it was first mentioned, that's why I was sure to say that Angel didn't put a dollar amount on it, because I'm like, Ashley, where'd you get $30,000 from? See, Ashley's always trying to start shit, y'all. Put her foot right in her mouth. Put them bunnies right in her mouth. Anyway, so Jassi's like, I thought it was important to bring up because, again, I'm getting to know you, and instead of just prejudging you, instead of just taking it and running with it, I thought it was important to bring it up to you because, I'm trying to get to know you, and that's not the energy that you've given to me up until this point. I think it's, fair, and like it's a good thing, and this is a group where, we see women come into the situation. They have these preconceived notions, y'all. They have all these assumptions about the next housewife. And I honestly have to agree that I feel like that was a very ethical way for Jassi to have handled it. And in her confessional, Angel's like, I don't know Jassi. So for her to bring up something so hurtful to me and my family from the past, it really just bothered me because it feels like she tried to go on a fact-finding mission to find out anything negative that she could about me. And y'all, like, I'm not trying to make fun of this lady. I'm not trying to mock her. I'm not trying to, poke fun at any mental health issues that she might be having. And when I say that, I mostly mean like there could very well and possibly be some postpartum depression going on is how I would just label it from my non-clinical standpoint over here. Something is up. Something's going on up there, because I have to agree. This is a lot better than what we've seen in the past with certain people bringing information to the forefront. Like, she didn't put it on a poster board. She didn't come past your house with a megaphone, like nothing. She didn't come to anybody else about it or everybody else about it, and then had you being the last person to know. I'm like, what more do you, Tyrese, what more do you want from me? Like, what, like, this is where I started to really rub my temples and really get irritated to the point y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't even watch What Happens Live directly following this like I usually do, because I saw Angel's gonna be on there and I knew that she was gonna irritate me. I'm sorry, I did with this, but I wound up watching it again a day ago, or today, I should say. I wound up watching it today once I did my rewatch and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I don't get it. And Giselle's like, girl, you could have just kept your mouth shut. Like, nobody was even on that, and now you're imploding to the point that Angel has to get up and remove herself. She's just over it. She starts to walk away or whatever. She goes outside. She gets on the phone with Bobby and telling him how she's just over the BS. And I'm like, you're over the BS and we're over you. I'm sorry. Like, and Kay, she steps outside to check on her, but Angel just wants to talk to him, and Gizelle also steps out too and attempts to check on her. She's like, oh, you want to talk to your husband? Like, okay, bet. And when they go back inside, they relay to the ladies like what all happened. And I really love how Wendy was just like, it's always something pretty much. Like, no matter what the variables are, mics were down, cameras were down. Like what more? It's just never like enough. It seems like we approach the situation one way, there's an issue. We approach it this way, there's an issue. And Jassi really did think that she was doing the right thing for real. And this is just another example, to Wendy at least, of Angel just wanting to live in her misery and find an issue with everything. And I can't sit here and act like I wouldn't feel that way if I was her, especially Wendy, who keeps getting, the verbal lashings that are not really deserving because she hasn't directly tried to come at, I feel like, Angel any type of like crazy ways or bring anything messy to her without somebody having brought it up first. But she continues to get a certain energy from Angel that Angel's not really giving to other people. But at the same time, what she's giving to other people or giving to the entire situation is that she feels attacked. She feels like it's just whatever they give her is just seeming like it's just not suitable for Angel Massie. And on Watch Rob's Live, she did clarify to say that at the time, since this issue was being brought up again at the Bachelorette right here, Angel says that she did think that, okay, maybe this is them trying to be messy or whatever. Like she may have not reacted that way or felt that way, like Jassi was playing on her top, if the conversation didn't come up again, because that made her think, I guess, that Jassi went and told people or went and like they were trying to make a moment of this now that it was coming back again. I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand that, but still, like, the way she goes about things really just confuses me. The way she navigates some of these situations and her responses really do kind of confuse me. And she's really hard to read because it's one way one minute and it's one way another minute. I don't know. Anyway, that's where the episode left off, though, y'all. I really hope you enjoyed my commentary. I hope you enjoyed this recap review. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me on all my socials. Want to know how you guys feel about it. How do you, genuinely get down those comments and let me know, how do you feel about Angel? How do you feel about the show in general, of course, but what side are you on in this matter? Are you seeing where Angel's coming from? Are you more so seeing where Jassi was coming from and the rest of the group, quite frankly? Y'all let me know in those comments, and I will, of course, see y'all in the next one. Bye.